Good morning. Welcome to SAP with Veena. This video is exclusively for the SAP learners who are absolutely new into SAP and they're not aware of the SAP interface as well. So, exclusively for new SAP learners. So, today we are just going to navigate the SAP system and understand the basics. So, on the screen, you can see we have SAP logon. So, double click on it. And here you'll be able to see all the SAP systems which you will have access for. So you will have to double click on the system which is available for your access. So you will provide your credentials over here, your username and the password here. The stars, what you can see here, cannot be deleted. Instead, you can directly enter your password over here and click enter. Okay, so I had keyed in wrong password earlier. So it says like number of failed attempts is so and so. You can just ignore this. Now, this is how your SAP screen would look like. And initially, you can see here at the top, menu, edit, favorites, extras, all that. So that particular line, we call it as menu bar. And the second line where you can see the blank space and lot many other icons, that particular line, we call it as standard toolbar. And the standard toolbar would remain constant across the SAP system and this will never change. And that's how it is called as the standard toolbar. Then you can see here the place SAP Easy Access, that particular line we call it as application bar. Now, the menu bar would proportionately change in accordance to the application bar what you're in right now. I'll show you that. And then down you can see the SAP logo. On the left hand side, the space what you can see, that is the status bar. Now, whatever I'm trying to create or whatever, I get the status of that particular document or the record over here, and that we call it as status bar. Now, menu bar, standard toolbar, application bar, and the status bar. These are the four aspects what we have on the initial screen. And right now I'm on SAP Easy Access screen. This is the initial screen whenever you log into SAP. And now this particular white box, the white tab, what you can see, that we call it as command field. And command field is the place where you're going to enter the transaction code. In SAP, in fact, whatever we need to create, we have transaction codes for that. And in short, we refer to that normally as T codes. Now, whatever I need to create, I can specify the T code over here. This space, we call it as command field. And I can get along with whatever I intend to create. So that's one method. Either I can enter the transaction code or I can browse through the path as well. Here you can see the SAP menu and I have various folders over here and I can browse through the path as well. So generally when you talk about a consultant, we go with the transaction codes. And of course, you really cannot sit and mug up all the transaction codes. It's an ocean of T codes what we have in every module. So as in how you get along with the subject, the proficiency on the system, you will get accustomed to the T codes going forward. And here you can see the save icon just next to the command field. And this is for going back. The yellow icon is for logging off. The next button is for cancellation. This is print. And next icons you can see that is for finding something on the screen. These four icons are for page up, page down. And if you want to open a new screen again, you can as well click on this new window. That would create one more screen. And if I bring my cursor down over here, you can see that there are two windows which are open. Okay, so this is for that. Now you have here various other options, the customization layout. And here this is for SAP help. And this is for generating the shortcuts. So these are the various icons what you can find on the standard toolbar. Now, for example, I want to create a sale order. For creation of a sale order, the transaction code what we use is VA01. So for example, if I provide the transaction code over here in the command field, and when I click enter, you can see that I'm directed to the creation of the sale order creation screen over here. Okay, that transaction code is VA01. Now, if you look at the application bar and the menu bar, that has changed now. I am in create sales document application, and in accordance to the application I am in right now, you can see that the menu bar has changed. Okay, so I'm just clicking on back. Now I'm back to the SAP Easy Access, and again you can see that the menu bar also has taken its place back to where it was. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, like, whatever the application you are currently on, in accordance to that, the menu bar will keep changing. And if you had noticed, the standard toolbar remained constant. So here I said that you can provide the transaction code here. It will take you to a particular screen, whatever you intend to create on. Okay, so that's how we are going to use the command field over here. Now I'll just go back. Same thing if you want to browse through, here you will come into logistics. You will go into, here you can see various folders we have. And since I'm putting this video on sales and distribution as the basics, let me go into S&D. And here you have various other folders. If I go into sales, now I'll go into order, and you can see VA01 as the transaction code. And if I double click on it, that will bring me to the same screen which I was while I used the transaction code directly in the command field. Okay, so now let me go back, and here, say I'm just right clicking on my mouse, and if I go into the settings over here, you can see that the display technical names is active. In case if I deactivate this, for example, now if I browse through my path, if you check here, now if I go into order, I can click on create, it will bring me to the same screen. But what you can notice over here is the transaction code is missing over here. Okay, so if you're browsing through the path and if you want to know the T code, you will not be able to find it. That's because here display technical names indicator is off. So please ensure that you keep this active so that if you're browsing through the path, system is going to tell you the respective transaction code as well. So if you check here, okay, this way. Okay, now, as I said, either you can browse through the path or you can use a transaction code. Now, let me go back to the same space again. Now, I finished with my creation of a transaction over here. And now I want to go to another screen. For example, like I want to create an inquiry. Now, don't bother about what are all this. Here, this video is just about playing around with the interface and trying to understand that. Now I am on create sales document screen. And now I'm finished with this. Now I want to create an inquiry. So I want to go to a transaction code VA11. Now in the command field, when I'm specifying VA11 over here and click enter, it doesn't take me anywhere. Okay. So here I'm not on SAP Easy Access screen. Instead, I'm on some other transaction screen right now. And from here, if I need to navigate to another transaction code, either I need to prefix my T code with /n or /o. Now, /n will replace the current screen with the new screen. As you can see here, VA11. Now, since I've prefixed my transaction code VA11 with /n, the current screen will get replaced with new screen. I'll click enter on the keyboard. Now you can see I'm on create inquiry. And if I bring my cursor to my SAP logo over here, this was already there. So this is what it has created. Now, here again, if I provide VA01, my current screen is replaced with a new screen. Okay, so this is /n. Now, I don't want to close this screen, but side by side, I want to open one more screen with another transaction code. So for that, I use /o. So here, system will retain the current screen, but it is going to open the new transaction in a separate window. So here I will give as VA11. Now, if I bring my cursor down under my SAP logo over here, you can see that both the transaction code screens are intact and I'm able to use both of them at the same time. Okay, so that's the importance of /n or /o, which would take me to that particular transaction code. And here also I mentioned about new window. So if I simply click on this, this is not going to redirect me to any transaction code. Instead, this will open SAP Easy Access. Okay, so that's the difference you need to know. So whenever you are using transaction code from SAP Easy Access, you can provide the transaction code directly. And from anywhere else, if you want to navigate to other screens, you need to either prefix the transaction code with /n or you will prefix with /o. Okay, so this is how you're going to use it. And also now on a daily basis, it's not that I'm going to work on all the transaction codes that are available in the system pertaining to sales and distribution or material manager or any other module you talk about. Now, there may be certain transaction codes on which I work on a daily basis. So I want to make a favorite of all of them. So I don't have to bother about keying in the transaction code on a daily basis because they are the transaction codes which I'm working on a day in, day out method. So here, neither I want to go through the path. So what I can do is I can add them into my favorites. Now, suppose I'll just go into logistics, sales and distribution. I'll go into master data. Now, suppose if I talk about contracts, now I have my job which is related to creation of a contract on a daily basis or very often. So what I do here is I'll drag and drop this onto the favorite folder. Now I'll key in /n in my command field. So I'm back to my Easy Access start menu. So when I click on this, I'm on SAP Easy Access, and under the favorite folder, you can see that I have transaction code VA41, which is for creation of contracts. So when I log in, if I need to create a contract, I don't have to bother about entering the transaction code in the command field, or should I bother about going through the path? I can simply click on the transaction code which is available under the favorite folder. Okay, so that's how you can add. Or if you intend to create your own folder over here, you can as well do that. So here I've kept my cursor selected on the favorite folder. Now in the menu bar, you can see you have favorites. So here I'm going to click insert folder and I'll just name it. And enter. Now there's the folder. Now keeping that folder selected, now again I'm going back to favorites over here in the menu bar. Now I'll click on insert transaction. Now I can add all the transactions on which I work on a regular basis and again bring back the cursor on the folder, go to favorites, insert transaction, I'll add BP, so this way, okay? Now if you check here, I'll give /n. Now when I come back to Easy Access, I have my own folder over here. When I open that, I can see that I have a couple of transaction codes which I've added over here. And if on a daily basis, these are the three transaction codes which I'm working. I simply have to come in here and I just have to double click and it'll take me to that particular T code. So this is how you can use favorites. You can either just directly enter your transaction codes, or you can create a folder and place your transaction codes in that particular folder. Now, let me go back to VA41. For example, now, see, SAP is an ocean. No matter how much experience we have, we can never claim that I know each and every aspect in SAP. It's a learning process for everyone. So now, for example, uh, let me assume that I'm coming to this screen for the first time and I don't know what is this all about. And I really don't know what these stand for. Now, I don't know what is a sales organization, for example. Now, I have brought my cursor onto sales organization. Now, go to F1. You can see the documentation here on what the sales organization is all about. So this is how you can look for the documentation on anything. Now, if I bring my cursor to distribution channel, when I go into F1, this is going to give me the document on, the initial explanation on what a distribution channel is all about. So this way you can actually make use of the documentation which is available on the SAP system. And also here on the right hand side down, next to the SAP logo, you can see a drop down. So here you have various options which you can keep active. Now suppose if I keep the user, so you will know like which user has logged in. Otherwise, if I, as a new learner, I would suggest you to keep it at transaction code. So at any point in time, you will always know what transaction code you have logged in. You have other options as well, like the response time taken by the system, the interpretation time. So you have various options over here. But I would suggest you to retain transaction as the option so that any point you can always know what is the transaction code you are in right now. Okay, so this is how you can just browse through the SAP system and try to understand how the interface. And it's not that you will get proficiency the moment you log in and just follow the video. To get hands-on on the system, you need to spend a lot of time with the system, try to explore what things we have, and that's how you go with your learning curve. Okay, so now let me get on to the next video, which is on organization structure configuration on SAP sales and distribution. So this video was just intended to the learners who are coming into SAP for the first time and they do not know how to navigate the SAP system. So see you in my next video. Till then, stay tuned, stay committed. Thank you.